Alright, it's like the military saying of never leave a man behind. I'm very fond of transferring that over to submission grappling, jujitsu, basic street fighting. Never leave a limb behind. When you're moving out of a technique, or if you've been thrown, or if you've been taken down, or whatever the situation is, you never want to leave it extended and left it out here. Because what happens when you leave something behind, it can get picked off. Arm bars, wrist locks, ankle, foot lock. You want to make sure that your body stays tight. This is a principle that goes in not only just Jujitsu. It's the principle that applies to submission grappling. I'm a huge proponent of another system by the name of catch wrestling. And yeah, I will go on record as saying that I do believe that catch wrestling is superior to some of the, I'm going to get in trouble here, some of the modern fad systems of Jujitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You've got these guys out there that, take these old school principles and try to, say, oh, you don't need to do it. And then when you watch them, they don't, I'm sounding bad now because I'm on YouTube saying this, but, you have guys that take the art out of the martial arts. All right, there is a side of this that there are reasons why we do it. All right, so with the side fall, these falls that I've shown you, as you advance through the rank, learn to start pulling the arms in, not taking the slap out. All right, these are our basic versions. All right, yes, at higher levels we're going to learn, different ways to do it, but as far as the rest of them go, that's what I want you to. That's the way I want you to do it. The last thing I want to cover before we cut this off on this particular segment is basically our front fall or our front recovery roll. Excuse me. All right. Now the front recovery roll is a combination. There's two ways to do it. There's what we refer to as a stay down roll, which will end up in the side position or side fall, which is a good training device because if you're thrown, this is pretty much how it's going to, a little bit different, but how it's going to feel to hit the mat. The second version is if someone, for example, shoves you from behind or you trip. Say you're trying to evade somebody, because as you guys know, the best defense is sometimes just not to be there. Okay? So the first version, the recovery roll of it is basically whatever foot is forward, whether it be left foot or right foot. For the sake of the camera, I'm going to do this right foot forward. For the sake of the camera, I want you to be able to see what it looks like from the front or the right position. Basically what I'm going to do here is pretty much, it's kind of the same concept as a penetration step. I'm going to dip my right knee in, right over top of my right foot, put it to the mat. Alright? Take my right hand, punch it through, keeping my eyes tucked down to my belt. What I'm going to do is use the momentum to roll back up to a knee where I can come back up to a fighting stance. So basic front recovery roll is going to look a little something like this. And back up. Okay? Hard to do it slow where you can see everything, but the bottom line is I'm going to tuck here, here, and roll. Now the stay down version of that roll is just what it sounds like. When I hit the mat, I'm going to elongate my body and stop the momentum. This is good if you're getting thrown or if you fall down or something like that. You see there's an obstacle in the way that, if you roll up into it. Extreme case, say you're rock climbing, you trip over a rock, and you see that there's an edge of a cliff right there. Do you want to do a full recovery roll and end up rolling off the cliff? No. You want to be able to arrest the momentum and stop where you're at. So basically a front stay down roll is this change. Here, boom. Alright? Notice where my hands are at. Head's down, looking at the belt, hands out to the side, ankles up, ball of the foot. Everything for that side fall is practiced right here in this stay down roll. And of course you can do it to either side, right or left, whichever one. It applies to the same thing. But the key points are all the same. Head's tucked, always looking at the belt, hands across the chest, hands in tight. If you want to start bringing this hand back in, you can. It's not a bad habit to pop back in. Staying in, got my body kind of rounded out, kind of hollowed, if you will. Foot up, ankle turned up, absorbing it. That's your basic stay down roll. Okay? Now, as I said, most of these techniques, there are other combat applications other than just the basics. And what you guys are getting at this level is primarily the basics. We're going to go into another segment a little bit later on of some more advanced combat rolls. You're going to see a lot more of the, I guess you would say, the ninjutsu influence in art Jiu-Jitsu. From American Combat Ninjutsu, the Bussy system, which I studied for a short time many years ago, but it was heavily influenced on me. The Fast Duke's Ryu Ninjutsu system. You're going to start seeing some more of those combat applications come on in the higher ranks as well. But thank you. This has been Basic Breakfalls.